And we are live on the air.
Are we live on the air? Oh my gosh. Welcome back to Suzie. Yes, we missed last week because we were taking a well-deserved vacation. I'm Suzie. That's Matt.
Yep.
Welcome to Wenatchee Insurance, Suzie Health Solutions. You name it, we insure it.
A whole lot of insurance.
In Wenatchee. We're here to, I don't know what our topic is today. What's our topic today, Matt?
Well, I think it's time that we trot out experts.
Experts? Okay.
Experts.
What do you mean by that?
Okay. Well, one of the things about what we do is we're advisors.
Yes.
And for a fair number of people that walk through our door are kind of shocked.
Okay. Shocked as in
that they thought insurance worked one way, and when we started talking about it, it kind of blew open some doors.
Well, I'm wondering if part of that's because of the way we just handle things ourselves.
I don't know. I don't think it's that way because it's we're service focused and in taking care of so people understand what they get.
Yeah, absolutely we are. But I wonder if a person was to walk into another insurance agency and have a similar situation. Possibly. They should.
Well, we one of the things that we looked at was for individual health care, the amount of people that are in our area that are attached to in-person assisters, people like us.
Yes.
Is a higher percentage on the county basis than most of the areas in the state.
That's an interesting statistic. The Affordable Care Act, when it was originally launched, was designed to be a do-it-yourself program.
But our state went away from that.
Kind of. The theory behind the navigators, the in-person assisters that are not agents, where they were supposed to work for a couple of years, walk people through it, and then be disbanded.
Yeah, and our state was one of the ones that kept the program and funded the program.
Right. Because they recognized that this was something that was not so easy to do by yourself.
Yes. There are approximately 800 navigators throughout the state. They're run by 8. I just looked at this.
Navigator groups?
It's 8 lead organizations.
Okay.
I think the smallest lead org had a contract of about $800,000. Excuse me, 343. That's our local one. When I looked at their contract in 2022.
No, 343 people, 343,000.
343,000.
Okay, that is the contract from the state.
From the state.
Okay.
I think the highest one is King County at like 2.5 million.
That makes sense. It's a population situation.
Yakima's got another high number. It's in the millions too. Better Health has got a fairly sizable one.
They're out in Spokane.
Yeah. So they're
the large metropolitan areas.
Yeah,
and that makes sense that they would have higher budgets.
It depends. It depends because it's outreach and and management. The caveat that they're using to get paid for is that they manage the Apple Health customers for the Healthcare Authority.
That's the theory.
No, that's what is supposed to occur.
Again, that's the theory. It's what's supposed to. That's not always what happens.
And like I said, when you looked at the state, this was the enrollment for the enrollment report for the spring of 2023.
Right.
You saw this black hole in the center of the state because they used the darker colors to designate more people attached to in-person assisters.
Right. And it threw Matt off for a minute.
It did.
Because it's kind of opposite of the way a lot of people read those kind of charts. So he thought that we were backwards. It's like, no, it's good.
Well, I have been beat up since a report in 2019 on the low enrollment rate for a couple of our counties.
Yeah. Chelan, Douglas, Okanagan, Grant are the ones that we primarily serve.
Yeah. And so there was this clutch of, oh my gosh, you're doing horrible. And at one point they talked about actively recruiting new brokers to work in our area.
Mm-hmm. They wanted to put a navigator in our office at one point.
Yeah. So I've heard this, and then I'm like looking at this. It's like, oh my gosh, more people are getting help in our area than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the uninsured rates.
Uh-huh.
So I'm really curious about those uninsured
We'll
rates.
see how that plays out. The fact is, more people are connected to in-person, what they call in-person assisters, brokers or navigators in anywhere in our little cluster counties. They're pretty much anywhere in the state.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is due to our Wenatchee Insurance and Suzie Health Solutions specific efforts for outreach.
Well, yeah, it's been
straight up. And we also know that like CVCH, Columbia Valley Community Health, our community health facility here in Wenatchee, they're also doing some strong outreach. So there's just more connections happening.
This is really kind of always been a real interesting kind of battleground for consumer help. And the consumers really get an opportunity to say, oh yeah, this works for me, or this doesn't. And that's one of the key elements to having great experts around you is having active competition.
Yes.
So that's one of your things. Is there active competition? Because we're starting to look at spreading into certain areas of the state, and we're really evaluating what the competitors are doing.
Yes, our other broker areas, but the brokers that are doing what we do, similar things to what we do.
Yeah, we're really looking at our peers, and we're seeing on how they interact with the public, whether they're resting on reputations, whether they're doing aggressive outreach, or whether they're kind of doing a passive outreach. Okay. A passive outreach, a really good example is they'll drop some money on a sponsorship.
Okay.
And not interact.
Right. They'll just say, this block party was sponsored by blah blah health. Whereas we might do, this block party was sponsored by blah blah by Suzie Health Solutions, but we'll have a table there.
Yeah,
that's active.
That's active. You're actively engaging. That's one of the things we've always stressed, and it's really important because we've seen that more and more with interactions from like say our nonprofits that are doing similar work. Is they might be able to table half the event and then leave early.
Yeah, we've run into that and that's partly because your navigators are an hourly wage employee.
Yes.
Which means they have to cover the shift. And if they're stay past their shift, they're being paid overtime. That's not normally okay in a lot of not retail, but in a hourly wage position.
It's fair to call it retail.
Okay.
And the reason why it's fair to call it retail is a navigator can't make decisions. They're able to say, hey, this is how it works. And they can't recommend anything.
No, they are there to educate about how the program works. This is how you navigate it, hence the term navigators. And these are your options. You make a decision. I cannot guide you.
Yes.
Whereas a broker, we are licensed to say, this plan would suit you best.
So
my opinion.
So it's a really distinct difference. And with that difference, you've got some that are attached to large corporations, the insurance companies.
Yep.
And they operate entirely different.
Yes.
Because whereas we're able, because we're an in-person enrollment center,
right,
we have to contractually explain all of the plans on the Healthplanfinder.
Right. We don't shy away from that either.
And we are seeing some that are connected to an insurance company, right, and with insurance contracts you have to recommend their products.
Yeah, right. And that's called a captured broker.
Yes.
And they work for, say, better, better.
I'll do one that's
okay.
not in our area.
Okay.
A really good example was the first year I went nose to nose with Primera brokers.
Yeah.
There was, I think, there were 4 or 5 of us recognized for the very first year of it. 3 of them worked the Primera call center out of Spokane.
Yeah, and that's all they pitched was the Primera product.
Yeah.
And as long as they're being upfront about what they're offering,
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's okay. That's not usually what happens. That's why Medicare threw down those rules about I do not represent every product available in your area. And because what was happening is call centers about Medicare were calling people saying, oh, here's this product, and not talking about everything else available in the area.
Yeah, and that's really distinct.
But the rules have a tendency to, Medicare rules trickle down.
So yeah, you want your service, your service advisors per se, to be connected with that ground level outreach.
Right. Now, if you know for a fact what policy you want and who you want to work with, go to Captured. That's okay. But but know that you are limiting your flexibility.
Here's the danger with this.
Oh, there's always danger.
We're seeing this more and more. They'll create a silo.
Yeah.
The insurance companies are designed to create a silo. So,
well, yeah, they want to start at the beginning and never let you go.
Exactly. I pointed out to more than one. It's, hey, if you got kids in the CHIP program, or if you lost your job, you need Apple help, they'll throw you in one of the managed care plans.
Right.
And then they want you to transition from that managed care plan over to their qualified health plan. Mm-hmm. So you're in that. Or if you're in that qualified care or that managed care plan, you turn 65, they want you into their
Medicare program.
Into the Medicare program.
And that is not an invalid business model, but it's difficult. It's not very consumer friendly because it doesn't give you all of the options available.
Yeah, it really restricts options.
It really does. It basically puts you on one track, and if you don't like the track you're on, it's harder to get out.
Yes, that's why it's very important to work with the independents.
Right, because we have no compunction about showing you something else.
And the freedom that it allows people to shop is incredible. Because everyone's able to, pull out their things. It's like, okay, well, what do you think? And give honest opinions instead of giving a corporate opinion.
Corporate opinion, yeah. And corporate opinions are always corporate opinions. It's not even the opinion of the broker.
Yeah.
Because if they start giving opinions about even a licensed broker who is a captured agent, if he says, I don't know if this is the right plan for you, they could lose their job.
Yeah. And that's really critical. So it's look on how the expert is giving their expert advice. Is it truly an independent one? Is it one with your best interest in mind?
That's the key. Is it with your best interest in mind? Or are they just
looking to make the sale?
Looking to make the sale, exactly.
And that's really critical. There have been more than one instance where we haven't made a dime.
Oh, yeah. We ran a long time with maybe getting commissions for, I don't know, maybe a third of what we wrote.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's like, it doesn't matter what we do. It matters about the customer.
Exactly. And that was part of our mandate from day one.
Yeah, which is really strange because it rolled into that the enrollment center program beautifully, because it's like we're already doing that.
I know. We were already doing what they wanted. What they wanted people to be doing. It's like, okay, no problem. We don't have to make any changes.
And that's really from that goofy old Miracle on 42nd Street. hey, go across the street to Gimbals and you get a better toy.
Mm-hmm. Same toy, better price.
And that's now, so yeah, it's an entirely different focus. It's a different focus for the industry.
Mm-hmm.
As an independent, we can do that.
Corporates hate us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they really do, because they know that they cannot force us to sell their product.
Well, we're not controlled.
No, and they do not like that.
Yeah. And you have to, it's this really fine line dance. I'm actually getting ready to fire one of my experts.
Mm-hmm.
Because of how they handle the situation.
Yeah, it was not not a good fit to begin with, and it just kind of, and this just sealed the deal. Yeah,
it's one of those things I don't take lightly. Is I evaluate my experts around me, and I was assigned this person from actually healthcare. I was assigned a specialist for a pulmonologist.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard to get in our area because my original one retired, and it hasn't quite gelled. And when he couldn't figure out how to make a phone call, it's like, okay, buddy, yeah, time to go.
Yeah, we were actually on vacation when Matt's appointment came up. It's like, okay, we knew that it was a phone appointment. We should be able to do that. We got to where there was phone reception. We were camping where there wasn't phone reception. We got to where there was phone reception. We did what we were supposed to do. We gave them my phone number because that's the best phone number to reach. And for some reason, he could not make that phone call.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the problem was. He said, oh, you can't get through. It's like, that is not an out of service number. I'm looking at it right now, you
so
dinkus.
Yeah, we literally, it was like 80, 90 degree weather, side of the road, in service zone. And it's just like, we waited literally for a half hour to return the call and couldn't do it.
Mm-mm.
And when we got the office saying, oh, well, you got to reschedule, it's like, okay, we're going to reschedule. I'm going to reschedule a brand new doctor.
Yeah, we're going to reschedule someone else because it wasn't working. I mean, and like I said, and this was just the final straw. There was some, like I said, there's bad chemistry going into it. And it just was like, yeah. Matt's always good for at least giving a person 2 strikes.
Yeah.
This was it.
Yeah. It's one of those things is we look and I have to evaluate my experts around me.
Mm-hmm.
I have to make sure that they're keeping up with technology, with what's going on in the world. That's the other thing. Is your expert current? Yeah,
that's something that are they current enough for you?
Well, it's not current enough for you.
They up to speed on what's going on.
Because you want someone, for instance, you go to you want to get your hair done.
Yeah.
You want someone that is up on the latest styles and coloring techniques.
Yeah.
To get it done right.
That's true. That's true. Although there are people who do not want to change their styles and haven't changed their styles for 30 years. It's a personal thing.
It is.
I've told almost all of my clients.
Yeah.
Your choice of a doctor is like choosing a spouse. It's an intimate trust relationship.
Oh, we're talking more than just doctors, though.
I know, but I'm specifically speaking about doctors. But yeah, it's not just doctors. And any trust relationship you have with somebody who's going to work with you in an intimate situation, whether it's personal intimate, just your hair, or anything where there's that deep connection of any kind, you really need to be able to trust them. If you can't trust them and you can't trust them to keep up with what you need to be kept up with, then this is something that is really important. Is your experts has to have the ability to occasionally make you uncomfortable. Okay.
And the reason why is because they have to tell you things that you need to hear, not what you always want to hear.
Yeah, that's fair.
So there's a certain level of discomfort, and I recognize that it's one of those, it's like, hey, you need to work on this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like your mechanic saying, hey, you know what? You need to come in and change the oil.
Yeah, or your doctor saying you really need to exercise more.
You need to exercise more. You need to stretch your legs. you need to de-stress your life.
Yes.
There are, like I said, there are things that they have to say to me. So if your life is going smooth,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you're still complaining about it, you might want to start adding on experts.
Find out where, if it's going too smooth, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, see where you're progressing. Actually, the term I look at it is, if you're just treading water,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have enough experts along to pull you.
That's an interesting sentence. I've never heard you use that before, but
I've had people around me in my lives that are skeptics,
mm-hmm. That's not a bad thing.
but skeptics to a fault, where they discount all the experts around them. Oh no, that don't work. And this ain't broke, don't fix it. And the reality is they're broke as a joke, and they're trying to figure out how to make the next.
Usually, if someone's stuck in that position, it's because they're afraid to make the next move.
Correct, and that's that whole, hey, sometimes you got to have people around you telling you things that you're uncomfortable with.
Pushing out of a comfort zone can be very, very scary, but it can also be very, very important.
Yeah. And we challenge ourselves in our office all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of those things that I make it a point to talk to Suzie and talk to Shayla. It's like, okay, if I'm going too far on this, let me know.
Mm-hmm. True.
Because, yes, I recognize that I have this weird desire to make progress.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not getting any feedback, I'm assuming we're going in the right direction.
Fair. The creation of Wenatchee Insurance and opening up just opening up the property branch is major league out of the comfort zone push for me, at least.
Well, yeah, it's something that I looked at really, really hard.
We all did. We both did. We did not go into this lightly by any stretch.
And because it's one of those things that hey, do we purchase a house or do we fire up a business line?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
And that is a really valid point. Do we open a business that is desperately needed in our area
and make somebody else's life, make our new partner's life better, hopefully?
That is
which is our goal.
Our goal is to make our customers and our partners' life better,
and as ancillary ours.
Mm-hmm. And that's really one of our focuses is because when you're in a community, you got to look at, okay, how do you make, the people around you better?
Uh-huh.
It's not how you make yourself better. It's how you make the people around you better.
And it all balances out.
Yeah.
Because if you go selfish, it's not going to, it never works as well.
Well, that's that part of that treading water.
Well, yes, because if all you're doing is treading water, you're very, very much in your own head.
Yeah. And so, yeah, if you're around people that are just telling you how it sucks, telling you how the universe is against them,
mm-hmm.
How everything is wrong.
Uh-huh.
Well, how are they going to get better if they're always focusing on all what is wrong?
You can't. Oh, there it is. I had a popcorn hole. You can't. If you're constantly focusing on the negative, it's very difficult to see the positive.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to sit there and you're going to wallow. Yeah.
So that's another thing you look for. You look for the people around you that are doing positive things. Mm-hmm. I had a young agent. He was young age wise, but he'd been in the business about the same time as me.
Mm-hmm.
One time asked me, "Hey, why would you select an agent if you could just do it yourself?" And this was about individual healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
And because he was a life agent,
right?
That was writing Medicare.
Yeah.
And I was writing individual health.
Right.
And I looked at him because the disconnect of if something goes, you're getting someone's expert opinion that's currently in the field. They're not obsolete. They got the specialized training. You're putting money into your community's pocket.
There you go. That's one thing a lot of folks don't realize is when you support an independent broker, you're supporting a small business.
And that was the first one. It's like, yeah, you're putting money into people's pocket around you, so that they have the opportunity to drop money into your pocket.
Right.
If you don't, you're taking that opportunity away.
Exactly.
And so you're getting up-to-date advice. If the corporation goes sideways, then you've got recourse.
Right.
If not, you're like, oh, let's trust in the company to do the right thing. Someone on one of the boards like, oh, I've been working with such and such insurance company since November to correct a problem.
Yeah. Did you talk to your broker? You're no broker.
Oh, no. This was the broker. I'm like, okay, you need to go to the office of the insurance commissioner and drop the complaint now.
Yeah, if sometimes you end up dealing with the insurance companies and they just go they take in circles, they don't get things done for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes you have to pull the trigger and do the nuclear option. Because the office of the insurance company commissioner requires them to respond.
Yeah.
Or they can be, fined or censured or whatever the heck they do. It's bad news if you don't listen to them.
Yeah, and it was, I think it was when we passed like 200 policies, you could start to see trends.
Yes.
And this was really important is starting out, it's like, yeah, you can do things a little bit larger. You could start to see trends.
Yes.
And there are points where someone will say, hey, this is what this insurance company is doing to me. And you can say, okay, that's weird. Or, I've seen this before. I've seen that this year. Let's file a complaint. And they can speed up the process of hey, let's work this out, to this is an ongoing problem. Let's solve it immediately.
Well, exactly. What you've got if you involve the office of the insurance commissioner is you are getting a third party visual on it. You've got somebody who's going, okay, let's take another look at this from a different angle, maybe.
Yeah.
Or let's see if we can grease the skids. There's a million different reasons why they can be a useful tool. And that's what they're for.
That's what they're for. That's why they're elected officials. Quarter two, they handled something like, in our state, handled 2,400 complaints. And it put about $17 million back into consumer pockets.
Yep, made a huge difference for a lot of folks.
And while I don't recommend that, that immediate, always
go through the customer service steps first, because you've got to give them a chance to do what they're supposed to do. If they do not, and you can do the same thing with Medicare, because you can always file agreements with Medicare if something goes wrong, but you go through customer service steps first, give them a chance to make it right. If they do not do their jobs, then you take it to the next step. That's
so. The next thing is what are the course of actions your experts can take when things go wrong?
You're asking me?
No. That's a trait you want to look for.
Oh yeah, you want to be able to know that your expert knows what to do next.
And this is really important is because we know as human beings, things go wrong all the time.
Oh yeah.
We actually took our laptop to one of our buddies who runs the local computer store, and he's like, you know what? There's no way I can fix this. It's cost effective. And
he was honest about it. He could have said, yeah, I'll fix it, and he would have charged us basically the cost of the computer. So we're going to go. I assume Nick's going to go get it.
We haven't talked about that.
No, we'll cross that bridge in a minute.
So yeah, you start to have these experts around you that can make your life better and making cleaner decisions faster. Because everyone gets trapped in the fog of too much.
Yes, absolutely.
It's everything's moving so fast. Well, slow it down. Hand off some of that important stuff to some experts and bring them in to aid your decision making.
Exactly. That's what we're here for. That is what we're here for.
And so, if your life sucks, you really need to look why.
Yeah.
I had someone I follow Robert Wright.
Yes.
For years, and one of the things he mentioned was the explosion of the hospital administrators, their salaries.
Yeah.
Like 600%.
Oh yeah, they kind of
just inflated, and he's like, "Well, this is why we need Medicare for all." And you step back, and the first question any expert should ask: how does that address
overinflated
the CEO's
CEO
income?
salaries?
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
And it's like, okay, you're not addressing the cost of that overinflated CEO. Another person, one of my friends on there, were like, yeah, health insurance is a big scam because look at the price of Cobra. You have to pay twice as much when you leave. And it's like, the reason why you have to pay twice the price of Cobra, that law was set up by motion by Clinton, and it's because the employer stopped paying their share.
That's right. People don't understand how that works. I have to go make a phone call. So we're about 30 minutes.
Let's winding it up because our job never stops.
No, it doesn't.
So, hey, look at the experts around you. Yes. Evaluate them.
Yes. Do not
evaluate them if they're not doing the job and find new ones.
That's right. And that's okay.
That's okay.
It is.
If they're professional and they're experts, they understand.
They do.
All right. So bye.
Bye.